Welcome back, AI Explorers, to another episode of Midjourney Monday. Today, we're going to use Midjourney to explore some very small worlds with a look at macrophotography. Excited to go down this rabbit hole together with you. And now I'll take it to my brother Warren.
Welcome, AI Explorers. Again, we're going to jump into some small worlds. Jacob, what kind of prompt are you starting with? And then I'm going to share what I'm looking at.
Again, I think that we've talked about this before with Midjourney, that it can, when you give it a certain style prompt, it kind of reaches into that area and does it well. And so we've talked about camera settings. We've talked about different like watercolor versus oil. It can kind of pick that up. So we're going to go with macro photography and just kind of see what it does with that. But I'm going to begin with a standard, just a water droplet on a leaf, and go with macro photography and see what we get. Excited to see these results. What are you going to start off with?
I'm going to start with a miniaturized sheep grazing on a leaf. And I need to spell leaf right.
Well, hold on now.
And then macro photography.
Grazing on a leaf or standing on a leaf while you know what I mean? Like, is it going to think that it's just grazing on a leaf?
Yeah, let's do standing on a leaf. There we go.
All right. While yours is generating, I like some of these. Some of these turned out well. I think it's neat that it's not a perfect water droplet there in the middle. This one's a little unusual, I think. That's solid work.
Well, and to that point, those are way much better than when I did them 2 years ago, as far as the water droplets and how they look.
This water droplet is not realistic, but it looks very stock photo-esque,
Yes,
it's this perfect round circle on the leaf. So I'm excited to see your miniaturized. Let's see what you got, man. Sure.
Check those out.
I like it. Very fun.
It's like,
what's your favorite?
Caterpillar sheep. The two on the right I really like. Though I do like the one on the bottom left. I mean, it's just teeny tiny on this dying leaf. I guess you could change it's interesting. They've got all these leaves in the kind of dying phase, that fall autumn phase. So I'm wondering if the season is playing into the time period is playing into that, because we didn't give it any specifications.
Like the real life time period?
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if it is.
And would it change the image if you said a spring leaf or a green leaf?
Well, let's try a different thing. So we're going to do miniaturize.
In the meantime, I'm going to share with you this. This is a beetle eating a Snickers bar. I was kind of curious to see if it would give it like actually holding a Snickers bar, but nah, it's found some gross piece of candy on the ground in the forest somewhere. Which is interesting that it, puts it in a wrapper of some kind in some of the versions. But insects are a great source for macro photography. What are some other macro photography out there?
You've now made me think about this. You put the snacks on here. I'm going to put a miniaturized polar bear on top of.
You're shrinking these animals.
Ice cream cone. Macro photography.
Okay, I want to go even smaller. I'm going to do some micro photography really quick. And I'm just going to see how well it can do with, say, for example, like blood cells. Microphotography, and just kind of see what it shows. And I wonder if it'll be more like classic textbook looking blood cells, or if it'll be more like under a microscope, which is the intent. So I'm kind of curious how much information it has about this kind of stuff. What?
Look at these. Look at that.
I like the bottom right. That's fantastic.
That would
very cool.
I do like that one.
These are my blood cell pictures. I don't. Having not looked at blood under a microscope, I can't tell you if this is anywhere close to what it looks like. I'm going to imagine that it's not. It doesn't seem like it would be what it looks like.
No, that doesn't. I mean, that's not the models that we see typically. Look at a donut with
like
a film between it in the holes.
Yeah, I'm just going to assume that if this is what your blood looks like, you've got problems. I'm going to go back to macro photography, a world that I know. Let's see. I'm always surprised by like the texture of paper.
Here we go. I've got one for you. Tardigrade, swimming around, microphotography. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, I also want to do, what's the actual scientific name for a roly-poly?
It's a pill bug.
Pill bug, that's what it is. Let's try that. Pill bug macro photography.
Or this. I'll send you this. This is
Look at your tardigrade.
Oh, he's woo.
I like the one that's floating in the orb. Like, what's that all about?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's in the stasis cocoon that they can generate.
Look at this macro photography. So these are very close-up looks at different paper textures.
Oh, I like those.
Which I actually kind of like. Yeah. And then let's see how our... So this is a roly-poly. I don't know that it just... It knows it's an insect. I think these are more accurate.
Oh, that one's... Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Nicely done, Midjourney. Good job. Very cool. So not always precise, but it does, I can see a world in the future where when you need an image for a textbook, instead of actually going out and getting macro photography, you just, all right, I need to look at the thorax of this animal and boom,
Yeah. Well, and what's fascinating about this, thinking about it on that kind of spectrum, is you could also use this technology to enhance your school projects as a kid or your child's school projects.
Oh yeah.
Whether they're making a science fair project, you can enhance it with some really cool imagery to bring a lot more engagement and vibrance to that project. So there's a number of applications.
There's the other piece where, like, you put that Dalmatian dog into Runway. We talked about this in one of our videos recently. You could take an insect picture like this, put it into a video AI generator and get the same thing. You could have it moving. Yeah, I mean, in terms of school projects, you could do some really incredible stuff. But just in terms of creativity generally, this opens doors for a lot of people to bring visions to life. So always very exciting.
Well, thank you for exploring this with us today. And if you like this content, like and subscribe. We'll see you in future experiences with Midjourney Monday.